Yarn and Shenanigans with Amy and Kristen. We are in my house, hence my giant wall of yarn. I feel like every knitting podcast has a giant wall of yarn, and I have one built in. So here we are. During the day, I am an accountant, and I can basically knit and do anything with yarn. I dye it. I have worked samples for a yarn company. I am the person that everyone comes to if they have a knitting problem. So we'll be solving a lot of knitting problems. If you have a knitting problem, just shoot me an email and I can solve your problem. I have 2 dogs, Max and Roscoe, who will make appearances because they need attention all the time. And Max is a dachshund, Roscoe's a Chiweenie. He's half Chihuahua, half dachshund. And yeah, that's me.
Hi, my name is Kristen. I am not a knitting guru, but I have been knitting for many years and it is my passion. My house does not have a wall of yarn, but I do.
You have a pretty big yarn staff. Say that.
I might have a few skeins. During the day, I'm a nurse, and so at night I do my knitting and other sundriest things. I'm married to my lovely husband, and I also have 3 dogs. One is a mini dachshund, one is a Papillon mix, and one is a terrier mix of some odd description. They will not be making appearances because we're not in my house. So you'll just get to hear all the adventures.
Oh, yeah. Her dachshund's nickname is Mafia Princess.
Of South Florida.
Of South Florida. It's so appropriate. So, love it.
So, and basically we've started Yarn and Shenanigans because we want to share the fun that we have in knitting. We want to be of help when we can. That would be Amy's area of expertise. I will show you how not to knit and all the mistakes and screw-ups that I make because that's my area of expertise.
And then I'll fix them.
And she'll fix them. We like knitting for different things. So for different things and for different people. So I enjoy knitting for myself, but I also enjoy knitting for my niece, who's a 20-something, very avant-garde person, and for my sister, who is in corporate management and wears fancy pants clothing. So since I never wear fancy pants clothing, I get to knit them for her. And one of my loves of knitting is lace. So hopefully I'll be able to get into many different lace projects along with the other stuff that I make. And what do you like to knit, Amy?
Well, I only knit for myself because I made the mistake once of knitting for my husband, and then I found it on the floor, and that was it. So I knit for me and my feet and my dogs. And sometimes my mom too. She gets my shawls. I am a sock knitter pro. The first 3 cubes above me. There we go. I did it right. Those are self-striping sock yarns. So I have a rather large stash of sock yarn. That is my favorite. I love shawls. Kristen can knit a top like nobody's business, and I'm striving to be like her. So that's probably going to be one of our first projects is a cute top that we're going to do. Other than that, there's not anything that I won't knit, but we are in North Carolina, and it is 90 degrees most days here, and we don't even get the beach. It's kind of a bummer. So a lot of the stuff that we're gonna knit will be things for people who are not in Canada and there's no snow in December. It's still 75. Well, it may be 60 some days. But so we have 2 sweaters that we can wear because those 2 days that it's cold enough, and then the rest of it we're gonna do scarves and cows. But there'll be a lot of more lighter weight. We might throw in a chunky sweater. I've got a couple on my queue that are pretty amazing. I apparently like to knit sweaters in summer, which is awful. It's awful. But so you'll see that adventure. I picked a sweater that wanted mohair and wool, and I was just like, why? That was bad. I'm never gonna, even on the coldest day here when it's 37, I can wear it for an hour and then I'm gonna have to take it off. So bad.
So bad. That's one of the things that I like knitting, and one of the reasons multiple things that we like to add to this podcast that we don't see in other podcasts. And one of them is warm weather knitting. And so as you can see, I have on a top that I made out of a cotton mix yarn, and it's a summer top. And a lot of the knitting that I do, especially in the summertime, is summer tops. Is how I make my own wardrobe. And I would rather make things for myself that I'm going to wear and not for the 5 minutes of winter that we have. So I do lots more stuff with lighter yarns and things that are appropriate more year-round here in North Carolina. And so we really want to make sure that we include a lot of that into our podcast, because we're not in Canada, as much as I love the Canadians, and we're not in Norway. There's a lot of warm weather knitters going, well, what can I knit when it's 90 degrees out, and what can I wear? And so we really want to fill in that niche in the knitting world to really talk about that type of knitting, because that's what's applicable to where we live, which is in North Carolina.
Yep. We're also going to do honest reviews of yarn.
Yes.
You can see, obviously, the wall of yarn. We'll talk about, like, different designers. I like to do more... I have a lot of indie dyers, more things off, like, that you can't get at our local yarn store here.
So, you know, I like to buy cheaper yarns for larger projects. Now, if I'm going to make something small, and I've got a few really nice skeins of yarn, I'll put those together and it'll be great. But I am going to be using a lot more mass-produced yarns.
And I'm like, oh, $300 for a sweater? Oh, well. That sounds okay. Please don't judge me, Tom. Maybe once or twice. I promise. Tom is my husband. He's very patient with my yarn budget. When I'm like, when he knows, when I like, we have a doorbell that like alerts us when people are just at the house. When the mailman comes and he sees me running, he knows that there's yarn in the mail. Like, he knows. You guys are here when the mailman comes. You'll see me run. I'm like, we gotta pause. There's yarn. I love it all. I have like a ton of I'm in a couple of yarn clubs that once a month I just get like a mystery skein. So bad. I love it. I love it.
See, and I'm the person, I want to see the yarn and know what I'm getting before I pay for it. So I don't join mystery yarns because I want to know exactly. I don't want to get something that go, I just spent what on this, and it's ugh.
But that's when you gift that to a friend.
Oh, are those the skeins I get?
No. No, never, Kristen.
So hopefully in this podcast there's going to be a lot of different stuff, and we're going to have a lot of different things to add. We're going to do some of the basic stuff. We're going to do the whips, and we're going to do the finished objects, but we're also going to add in a lot of other stuff that we hope will be of interest to people, that we're going to enjoy doing, that we hope that you're also going to enjoy watching.
The shenanigans, basically.
The shenanigans. Mm-hmm. There's going to be lots of shenanigans.
There's a lot, clearly. What else? I think that's pretty much it about us. So, yeah. Any questions you have, anything you'd like to learn that you haven't been able to find, like a really good, helpful tutorial, let us know. Email us. Our email address will be posted below. And just let us know what you think. Things you'd like to see. Suggestions.